Well, I told you I'd show you my grow light setup, and I told you I'd show you when my plants start coming up. These are all pepper plants. I say they are. I just put one tomato out here, but these are gosh, that's a cayenne. That's a Haas jalapeno. These are the roulette heatless habanero and the giant Marconi Reds. We really like those. But they came up, I planted them on Monday. They started coming up Sunday, so about 6 days for the pepper plants. I kept them at 90 degrees. The thermostat on my heat pad was at 90 degrees. It was inside the house. I don't think they would come up that quick had I been in the barn with them where I am right now. The grow light setup is in the barn, in my nasty old dirty barn. But the heat mat setup, the place where I started them, was in the house because just you can control the temperature in the house. We've had some cool nights. Now it's warming up. Today's in the 70s. But when I first started them last week, we had some cool nights down in the 40s. I think maybe even 30s, and they just would not have done that well out here. The heat mats are good, but especially if you put this that tray of water on top of the heat mat, so you got two things that you're trying to heat up. You're trying to heat up the water in the tray. You're trying to heat up the soil, and the seed is sitting on top of the soil, not way down deep. So it always works better for me to start seed indoors. I don't do it every year, but I guarantee you it works so much better. So these are today's Wednesday, so these are 8 days old, 9 days old, something like that. I noticed today, just a few hours ago, that the tomatoes were starting to come up. One set of tomatoes. These are the Sun Gold. These are just barely starting to peek out. And I mean, as soon as I see anything peeking out, I come and put it under the grow lights. You can't let them go for very long. If you let them go 24 hours, I think they're going to be leggy on you. I've got one here that's pretty doggone tall, much taller than the rest of them, and I hope it doesn't get leggy because the rest of them are just now emerging. But as soon as I saw them, I pull them. When I showed you planting the seed, I showed putting some saran wrap, and I normally put just regular saran wrap on a full tray. I'll just wrap it across the full tray. I wanted to do these individually because my peppers are going to come up quicker than my tomatoes. I was planting my peppers earlier than my tomatoes. Tomatoes are just now starting to come up, but this one set has the Sun Gold, which is a cherry. But I was stretching, I didn't really stretch it tight, but I was putting the cling wrap type on these individual 6-packs, just wrapping it around. I showed you that on the last video. And someone said, I hope that cling wrap doesn't cling to the little seedlings. And when you pull the cling wrap off, you tear them up. You pull up the little seedlings. And I didn't even think about that. So when they said that, I was extremely careful, and it did not have a problem. I think it's mainly supposed to cling to solid surfaces. Like it did cling pretty well to the sides of these. But I would probably recommend, if you have saran wrap, doing that instead of the cling wrap. I didn't have any problem with the cling wrap, but you just don't know. So next time I will try to make sure I've just got plain old saran wrap. But the peppers look good. These are good grow lights. These came from Haas, adjustable grow lights. Well, you can see that in the dark. Those lights are so bright, but I can adjust it. I've got it hung from the ceiling up there. But they do good. This is my setup. I've also got some more grow lights right behind me, and that's these right here. Now these are colored grow lights. They look white, but they're blue and red and white. All together. If I need these, I'll put a table right here and put the seedless watermelons under these grow lights because I really don't have enough room under this one. I could, I guess. I like to make sure the grow lights are, right down on that plant. That grow light is about, and I could probably raise it up a little bit, but that grow light is like an inch, 2 inches at the most, away from the top of that little leaf right there. So make sure your grow lights are real close. Don't get them up in the air, you know, 2 feet in the air, and expect it to cover these little baby plants. That's probably good or okay once they get up a little bit. Once your plants get a little height on them, you're gonna have to bring them out, and I'll have to raise this up because I want some. I'll put some plants down the middle here, and these lights are not going to cover the middle as much as they are. I've got these right under that light, as you can see. These are LED. Don't take up a lot of don't suck up a lot of electricity. And again, the grow lights came from Haas. The heat mat came from Haas. Here's the thermostat on the heat mat. I've got it set on 80. When I first started these seeds, I set the seed mat at 90. It never quite hit 90. Again, you've got the water, so that's an insulating factor. The tray's an insulating factor. So the plants, the 6-packs, aren't sitting right on top of the heat mat. That heat mat's pretty warm, but they're not sitting right on top of it. So you got a little bit of a buffer, so that's why I raised it up a little bit. Plus, the thermostat cord is sticking down in there, and again, you're sticking the thermostat cord way down in here just so it'll stay, and your seed is way up here, so you got some buffer there too. So 90 degrees is what peppers like anyway, between 80 and 90. So I'm good on that. They came up within 6 days. I'm happy about that. The tomatoes are starting to come up now. Everything else I planted was either Red Snapper or Halcinator tomatoes. That's all we're going to have this year, those 2 brands, and then I'll have one earth box with a couple of Sun Gold in it, and then I'll give away a few of those Sun Golds to someone else. So here's my grow light setup. Not much to it. Got a couple of nails in a little rafter, and these hanging from it, they give you a lot of rope to hang it from. I've probably got 8 feet of rope, 6 or 8, and they just do real well, and just have done well for me too. Some lights are better than others. This is a grow light, but some lights you would buy at the store and just going to have a regular LED bright white or something like that. You know, just it's not the same. It may not be quite as good. It's better than nothing. Better than trying to set them in a windowsill and get them all leggy, but it may not be quite as good as a real, show enough grow light like this one is here. So I'm happy with it. So far, everything's looking good. I'm late. I want them to hurry up, dadgummit, but it's my fault. I'm late. And but everything looks good. Hope your seeds are doing good. Let me know how your seeds are doing. If you've already planted them, these I should have planted 3 weeks ago, and these should already be 4 or 5 inches tall, have several sets of leaves on them, but they don't. That's my fault. That's not the plant's fault. So, but we're going to be maybe a little late putting them in the ground. I'm still waiting on the plugs from the Halcinator and the Red Snapper plugs from Haas, because they're probably going to be bigger than these, because I'm sure they planted them before I did. So I will probably, if the weather permits, I will probably plant those and use those before I use these. And then some of these I'll give away, some of these I'll plant on my own. So anyway, looking good. Good seeds, good heat mat, good grow light. Haas are good folks. They're a sponsor of my channel. And if you hadn't bought your seeds already, I highly recommend them. Quality seeds. I've never had any that went wrong. I think I've had, I don't see any. I don't know how many seeds I planted in each hole, but I'm getting pretty close to 100% germination. I think I planted two. There's one that got come up. There's two. So I'm getting pretty much 100% germination on most of these peppers. And we'll see what the tomatoes do, but I expect them to be about the dadgum same as these are. So get you some stuff started. Man, it's just around the corner. Unless you're way up north, gardening is just around the corner. Hopefully next week, maybe I can get my drip irrigation set up on the new garden plot. I can show you that, show you how I'm doing it. Hopefully we can get that done next week. All right. Get something growing, get something going. We're gone.